Hey everybody, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Blood Bowl Formations Slann Setup. So we're having a look at every team available in Blood Bowl 2020. Whether it's the rulebook, the Teams of Legend PDF, or like this team from the NAF Tournament Guidelines. So Slann appeared in the Blood Bowl video games as Kislev, but they are really a team of space frogs that can leap around. So this team is just full of the pogo stick ability, and that's their thing. So the Khorne team is all about frenzy. This team is all about leap, so it has the uncanny and unmatched ability to just teleport from one square to 2 squares away. Because they've got the pogo stick element, there's no modifiers to it, so the majority of the time this is going to be happening on a 3+. Sometimes with a 2+, and that is why I love this team, because this team will just disappear from one place and appear on another, and sometimes it will just appear on the ground in bits, and that's what makes it so unique and so fun. So we're going to have a look at some setup formations for this team. We're going to look at if you're kicking, if you're receiving, kind of what you need to consider, which positionals you need to place where. So if you're running Slann or going to be running against Slann soon, this video should give you some tips and tricks on what positionals to expect where and why. So when it comes to it, Slann actually is a team made up of really good linemen. Movement 6, Ag 3+, Strength 3, Armor 9+. They're very resilient and actually remarkably mobile. Now they've all got pogo stick and very long legs as well. So very long legs is only going to be useful for interfering with passes, so we can basically pass on that. But that cheeky 3+ pogo stick for the ability to disappear from here and reappear over here is actually very wonderful for a Strength 3 lineman. So if you are playing against Slann, or if you're playing with Slann, there's always that 3+ chance of a Strength 3 dude appearing anywhere you want him to. So no cage is truly safe from Slann, which I find absolutely delicious. However, there's always a risk because there's no reroll skill available. Pro, that's going to do a pretty nice job, but the 50k rerolls help as well, because most Slann teams are going to be running 4 or 5 rerolls. If it works, it is just almost unfair. If it doesn't work, it's almost unfair. It's Blood Bowl. Everything's unfair. So this team is made up of these great linemen and the Kroxigor. Any Slann team not running a Kroxigor, you need to look at them kind of with a raised eyebrow. Like, I don't understand what it is you're doing. It's like a Goblin team without a chainsaw. It's like, what? Did you lose a bet? They must have lost. You lost a bet. Cool. That's basically Kroxigors. They're so important to this team because you have this many combat skills. Okay, everyone can bamf around like the little blue dude from the X-Men cartoons. That's cool, but they can't punch things very well. You're going to have just no skills. There's no block, there's no wrestle, there's no even close to, there's no juggernaut, there's no nothing. The best you've got is diving tackle on the blitzers, and those blitzers are strength 3, so it's nothing special anyway, but the Kroxigors are wonderful. So that Krox is going to basically be a fantastic blitzer for you, a straight blitzer, okay? You've got your jump blitzers, which are everybody, and then you've just got your straight line blitzer when it comes to the Krox. That Krox is going to be super important from a combat point of view. So anchor defense here, we've seen it before and it works great for Slann. You've got these 3 dudes. Now you can spread them or you can bunch them, doesn't massively matter. Your opponent is going to get 5 blocks against them. I guess if you spread them wider, they're going to have to work to get the additional, they're going to have to deploy a little bit more, but you're going to get more blocks against them. I think I like to deploy them a little bit closer than that sometimes, but it doesn't matter. Your opponent's going to get some blocks, but you're strength 3 and armor 9. It's going to be okay. Then you've got this guy in reserve. And that's what the anchor defense is all about. You've got a sacrificial line and you've got linemen on the edge here. So your opponent's going to go block in, block in, block in. And then I can blitz your Kroxigor. That seems unwise, and it is. Or I can blitz around the edge. Now you've got your important pieces here. So we've got blitzers and catchers in this lineup. It's unlikely that a 1 million build you're going to have that many positionals. It's a very expensive team. More than likely, this is going to be a catcher, this is going to be a lineman. So what you can do is keep your catchers in the middle, keep them safe because they're movement 7 and Ag 2+. And Ag 2+ means pogo stick is a 2+ to appear here. And then it's just great. Okay, those guys are great at picking up the ball, getting the heck out of danger, and then reappearing where you don't want them to. I love them. They might be my favourite positional in the game. I mean, I do love a gutter runner, and I really love a Minotaur. but those Slann catches are just something special. There's just something really janky about what you can pull off with it, and I think it's fantastic. So you're deploying these guys here in this shield formation to basically make it very hard for your opponent to run all the way around here and blitz someone you massively care about. So that's what the anchor's good for. Then you counter strike, and dude, pogo stick to counter strike is fantastic. Now the anchor defense will also be really useful if you get a cheeky blitz, if you get a close kick. Now kick on this team is awesome. This guy here needs to get kick. When he gets kicked, the ball lands here. Then you go 1, 2, 3, reappear on the ball. Fantastic. Cheeky 2+, doesn't even matter who else you've got around. You get that ball, you get out of dodge, you've got a touchdown. It's just brilliant. Now the Croxagore here is going to maintain its open position. No one's going to tag it. If they do tag it, you've got a 2-die Mighty Blow block. That's fantastic. If they don't tag it, you've got a straight route here to counter blitz somewhere you want to. Now the pressure is going to be on them to maintain control of that ball, okay? Because you've got those movement 7 edge 2+ pogo pieces and pretty fluid team here at movement 6, they have to really protect that ball, because if you can jump in, knock the ball out and jump somebody else in and grab that ball, it's going to be very difficult for them to scramble around. So your blitz defense is going to be about softening them up, okay? If the ball is, say this is their half, okay? If the ball is deep, you need to focus your reserve pack here to support that Crocs, to support these lines, to get as many blocks as possible, okay? If this is there and the ball is deep, you want to just beat up this here, because your opponent's going to have to deploy 5 guys in the backfield, which means you've got 11 versus what, 6, 7 players with a Croxagore, with a bunch of strength 3 guys who have got incredible ability to re-maneuver to get you extra block dice. That's going to go great. I'm not good at this. This is my biggest downfall in Slann. I tend to disengage as much as possible, and it means that my opponent can pick really good blocks against me. So when I ran Slann in the last league, I went 4-1 and 4. I went 4-0, tied a game, and then lost the rest of the games for the season. And I went back and watched my games, and the reason it happened is because I wasn't pressing those blocks, okay? Think about being an Amazon coach, vampire coach. You've got to take the vanilla blocks as much as you can, and you just have to take the ones that you need. I am ball hungry when it comes to steals, okay? I want to sack them, steal that ball, and run away with the touchdown, okay? Means I tend to end up with a really good touchdown rate, but also my casualty rate is appalling, because I move this guy there and then he dies. I move this guy there and then he dies. Actually, move this guy here, take one block, leave them together. None of them die, and not dying is actually quite an important element of Blood Bowl. So you've got the Crocs to be a good reserve. If you've got a blitzer, they're okay, but realistically you want to be blitzing with the lineman and your Croxagore, and you want to be supporting the heck out of it while keeping your catchers safe but within threat range, okay? Threat of activation is a term in Magic the Gathering that forces your opponent to consider what will happen if you pull the trigger on something. Those catchers are guns. They are ready to pull that trigger, and it's only a 2+ die roll for them to reappear 2 squares regardless of tackle zones. Your opponent is going to know that. If they don't know that, you can surprise them, but once you've surprised them, they are going to be adding an extra 2 players to create a screen or to put extra people on that ball. That means you can just prey on the remains of that team, because you're going to be outnumbering them almost 2-1. Now against a faster team that is looking to score within 2 or 3 turns, the Chevron defense will do a really good job of slowing them down. Okay, and the reason for that is because you've got these interlinked tackle zones. So if you look at how we set up our team here, let's draw this little box to show all the cheeky little tackle zones. Okay, so if you've got overlapping tackle zones here, their only vulnerability is on the edge. So they need to delete this player to swing by. Now they can do that by putting an assist there and blocking him out. But to do that, this guy is in the way now. So actually they are going to have to force themselves to take dodges. If they want to do that, what they're going to want to try and do is knock him out and then create a side cage here to then score the following turn. Oh, this is where the fun starts. Let's say they do that. Let's say they get their team here, and they've got a dude there, they've got a dude there, and they've got the ball carrier there. Do you know what the great thing about this team is? If you've got a guy there, and the ball carrier target is there, you've got so much opportunity. That is so bad. A side cage is a terrible thing to do against a Slann team, because all they need to do is pop one of their catchers there to take out these tackle zones. And these guys are movement 7, and any one Slann lineman can bamf in there on a 3+ and just clear out the ball carrier with anything but a skull. Okay, so that's a 3+, 2+ to drop that ball carrier or push him off the pitch. That is fantastic odds. It's not fantastic odds, but it's not bad odds at all. Okay, 2/3 of 5/6. Don't know what that is, but it's going to be fun. And one reroll is going to make all the difference. It gives such a bad opportunity for them. It's almost baiting them into doing it. It's like, okay, take those tough blocks, take those dodges to build that side cage. I'm just going to 3+ in there to take a 1-die block on your ball carrier into the side of the pitch. Okay, this is fantastic for you. Now, the other thing they can do is try and come down the middle, but you've got a Croxagore right there. Now, you can flex it up a bit and perhaps drop a Crocs in defense, but realistically, these linemen, and if you've got blitzers, fantastic. If you've got catchers, great. Catchers can be to do that 2+ bamf to get you the assist that you need. Alright, the chevron defense here is a lure for your opponent. They can work hard, they can break through, they can go for a side cage, and you're just going to bamf in and push them off the edge of the world. And sometimes your opponent is going to be kicking to you, and Slann have a brilliant offense, and it's not just because of the leap. Let's be straight. You should be leaping as little as possible because it just creates an opportunity to fail. Okay, it's like going for it, but it's twice as risky. So don't be running around jumping forever if you need to, unless you really need to. Okay, take the 3+ to push a guy off the pitch, absolutely. Take a 2+, 3+ to go for that touchdown, absolutely, when you need to. But the rest of the time, your team is made of human linemen that can fly, so let's just play slow game, okay? You don't need it. You've got these guys here, these catchers with their movement 7 and ability to fly on a cheeky 2+. That's your breakout. All you need to do is move up, 5-6 squares into the other half. So take your time. I am really bad at this, and I'll show you the formation which I use to almost succeed in a second. But the best way to do this with Slann, 5-4-2, build this curve, okay? Build that screen. The ball is going to go somewhere. These guys have got movement 7. They are going to get wherever, okay? You can pick what you can protect and collect, no problem at all. And the main line here is going to be to win using that Croxagore, using those assists, okay? These guys are good. A couple of casualties in there, they start getting blocked. And you start building a really good team here. And because of the way Blood Bowl 2020 works, you can save up and get guard. You can save up and get mighty blow, okay? The blitzers are cool, and their access to general strength and agility is really good. You can build blodgers, but it's going to take you 14 SPP minimum to get there. That's a long way to go. The linemen are sweet. 50k human linemen that can fly, 60k sorry, that can just jump around 2 squares on a 3+. They get block, they become fantastic because they block or wrestle, they become everything you want them to be. This screen is going to protect the ball, okay? Allow you to just take those blocks. Your opponent is going to give you really good blocks because they're going to go, ooh, I'm going to have to pretend, I'm going to have to protect in defense here. And that's what they're going to do. And when they do that, you let them. They're going to feed you 3 players. You've got 11 to counterpunch them with, okay? You want to be taking all the blocks you can in all the best directions you can to make as many of those count as possible. Now, I don't necessarily believe in fouling with the Froggos because actually you don't have a huge amount of players and you need to keep them alive because the catchers are very vulnerable. But every now and again, you're going to take down a Wood Elf and it's going to be worth a cheeky foul. Basically, if you've got double the TV, take a foul. Now here you've got the Crocs. Crocs can make a good block, lineman can make a good block, this lineman can make a good block. If they're still standing, this lineman can make a good block as well, and you've got a free person on the edge. You've got no blocks, so every one of your blocks needs to be 2 or 3 dice. Take them if you've got them, disengage otherwise. You want to leave your opening series with your opponent having 1 attack back, and that is going to be a blitz. And if you've got this screen, they are going to be a long way from getting to the ball. You've protected it already with 1 catcher, and you've probably picked it up on a 2+ with another. Then you want to take 2 turns to move up the pitch a few squares at a time, get that catcher into a pocket, and you know what? Bide out your time. If you can knock out a few players, you start winning the advantage when it comes to attrition. Now, skills wise, you will suffer. Almost every other team is going to have some block, so you're going to need to kind of countermand that. But if you can start removing players, it will help you with your attrition. And that's your vulnerability here with the Froggos, is that your guys are probably going to get injured. They don't have skills, and that's going to happen. You need to play tight, but you've always got that stretch play of movement 7, edge 2+. Take dodge really early on these guys. Pro is going to be really useful as well. Go watch the Theory Thursday where we talk about leap. It's just leap, but so much better. So 5, 4, 2. 5 guys on the line, 4 guys here in your 2 little collection or protection teams, okay? They protect, they blitz, whatever. You're making the most of it. Then you let your opponent come to you and you just mob them with numbers. They're going to have to protect their backfield because of how fast your guys are. That just means you can use these guys to support, take a 2-die block into another 2-die block and put them down. That's going to keep your guys alive and eventually you're going to win the game. And we've got to do it because they can do it. Okay, the heavy flank offense for the Slann is almost unstoppable. I love it, and this is what leads me to my downfall when I play Slann, is because I'm shooting for 4 touchdowns a game because I can. And that's a surefire way of getting your team murdered, and sometimes just it failing, going wrong, and you turning over the ball and losing 2-1. Like, it happens, okay? And this is how to do it. So we've built this offense with 2 catchers and a bunch of other dudes. You need the Croxigor. Remember, you need the Croxigor. Get a Croxigor. So heavy flank, you've got 1 catcher back in the opposite direction. You pick one way to go. If the ball lands here, you need to be prepared to try and pick it up and go for a pass. Or a handoff, okay? The best passing you've got here is on a 4+. It's your lineman and your catchers 4+. So what you want to do is take a handoff and kind of find a way to get it to this guy here. You've got catcher here. If you've got more than 2 catchers, then it's good times, because you want to stack these guys as much as possible. Perhaps put a catcher there. You want to go as big. Now we've got this wonderful little star formation here, because what you do is it creates little collection bubbles around all of these players. So if the ball is up here, you can pick it up, hand off, and then move a guy up. The difficulty here with the heavy flank is that your passing has now dropped down, so you don't have a cheeky 2+ or 3+ pass to get it to the ball carrier. The best option you're going to have is a 4+ with a team reroll, which is a 25% chance of failure, basically. It is risky. So it is a risky offense, but in the old edition it worked nice. It's going to be difficult to pull off now compared to how it used to be. But the plan is Croxigor knocks this dude out and then frees this entire contingent of players. You use these guys to protect and collect, and you want to get it to a catcher that's here or a catcher that's here. Then you move up, support blitz, break through, and create a side cage with a catcher in the middle that is 6 squares up. Alright, this catcher boots it up 6 squares. He's in scoring range. You can leap out of almost any situation. Alright, you've got a couple of blocks, then you can move these guys up to support. If you've got blitzers, it could help if they've got guard. If they don't, it doesn't matter, then you're just using linemen. But the heavy flank gives you the opportunity to collect the ball wherever it lands and at least give a go to bootleg it up. So if you've got to score in 2 turns, you can move these guys up and make that pocket. You don't have to give the ball to this catcher that creates the scoring threat unless you need to, unless you can. If you can and he's protected by 2 linemen, you're in a good place. If you can't get him the ball, you can still position them up in a scoring point. Then it splits your opponent's attention, because if you've got a little pocket here with the ball carrier and a pocket in scoring range with the ball carrier, what are they going to do? They're going to move in and tag your scoring element and try and pressure your carrying element. Your carrying element's going to be safe. It's going to be a 2+ dodge, 2+ leap out with your catcher to then fly across and 2+ hand off to get it to your other catcher so that your catcher can score. You are rolling a lot of dice, but the point is here that it's incredibly difficult to defend against. It is risky, okay? Maybe it's a 50% success rate, something like that. But if you need to score in 2 turns, you can do it, and this is the best way how. Anyway, that's going to wrap up Slann. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I love this team. It is a unique challenge, alright? It's just so different. It can be unstoppable. At some point, it's going to shake itself apart. Sometimes it doesn't. If you play conservatively and hold yourself down to only taking those leaps when you really need to, you will have a great time with this team. Unfortunately, it kind of tends to play out like every comic book ever written, okay? Person finds new power, uses it once, goes, wow, this is crazy, I better be careful with this, and then over time they use it more and more and more until eventually everybody dies. And that is a great analogy for this team, and it's so much fun until you obliterate yourself. 4-0, 1 tie, lost 4. It's an average team, but it plays in a very above average way. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. Please let me know what you think of Slann in this edition. I'm very excited for the way you can skill them up, and I don't know, I just love it. Space Frogs in Blood Bowl, it's just so good. Anyway, I'm going to disappear. Thank you ever so much for watching. Happy leaping. Thanks very much for watching, we really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe, it really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.